Ladies, young ladies and gentlemen, I greet you wherever you are, all around the world. I wish you all a warm welcome, once again, here on your platform for Awakening Consciousness. It is a dark Thursday, a black Thursday for Ukraine. It is an inexplicable Thursday. That is to say, the curtains are falling on Ukraine. Ukraine's dreams are shattering into 1,000 pieces. Already, it must be said, after a tumultuous day in Istanbul, neither the exact day nor the specific time for the start of the talks has been set by anyone. After the delegations, or rather the Ukrainian delegation, arrived and was left somewhat to its own devices. People didn't even pay much attention to the Ukrainian delegation. There was much more interest in the Russian delegation. After all that, as if all of this were not enough of a burden. After that, the United States decided to include in the new peace plan the integration of Russia into NATO to revive the Russia-NATO Council. And you know that the purpose of the Russia-NATO Council is to harmonize new security policies between Moscow and NATO. So after the United States went behind the Ukrainians' backs with this cursed proposal, and it must be said that way because that's how Ukraine sees it, as if all that weren't enough. It's the new Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, who steps right into Ukraine's business, dancing in their food, so to speak. He brings them the very bad news. Now this, I say it's a dark day for Ukraine. What is this bad news? Ladies and gentlemen, it concerns Ukraine and NATO. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video conference, which I humbly ask you to share as much as possible. Give it lots of likes, kid. Share the video conference as much as you can. The situation is serious. So, let's dive deep. Let's go into the depths. And so, according to official information, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will not be invited. He will not be invited. For the first time since the start of the special military operation, since the beginning of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, he will not be invited this time to participate in the NATO summit that will take place in The Hague in June, according to a report on. The contrary, now is the time, if ever, that NATO should take a personal look at Ukraine, since the leading figures, the hotheads of Europe, who are NATO members, staunchly support Ukraine. Germany, through its new chancellor, has decided to staunchly support Ukraine. We have heard Katja Skallas, the new head of European diplomacy, break her silence in coordinated action with Ursula von der Leyen, the President of the European Commission, to demand that Europe provide financial and military support to Ukraine. They are committed. We have seen Germany decide to provide financial support to Ukraine. Even Norway has decided to send 6 F-16 fighter jets, 6 F-16s to Ukraine. But meanwhile, whereas in previous years Ukraine was invited, this time it is not invited. What is the reason? You can guess the reason. Come on, share the video conference with me, please. Share it as much as possible. Give it lots of likes. Volodymyr Zelensky will not be invited to participate in the NATO summit in The Hague in June. That is, next month. What is the reason? They themselves have provided the reason. The reason is as follows. It is the fear of a new display of division within NATO in the event of tensions with American President Donald Trump. This is what sources from the Euractiv portal claim. They are afraid of seeing divisions within NATO because Donald Trump said that Ukraine must not even dream of joining NATO. And in the peace plan proposed by Donald Trump, it is stated that Ukraine must forget about its bid to join NATO. While America is sidelining Ukraine in this NATO matter, it is at this very moment that America is proposing to revive the Russia-NATO Council. It's like a kind of indirect membership of Russia in NATO. Because if this council is revived, they will have to establish a joint force, a joint Russia-NATO force. And this joint force will be deployed in territories wherever the need arises, particularly in the context of fighting terrorist threats. So you see, that would mean that Russia would be part of NATO. The Russia-NATO Council is based on a convention, an agreement. That's right. So Russia will become a partner of NATO, while efforts are being made to push Ukraine away, to sideline it. This is why I am telling you that this news is very bad. So, the goal of the NATO summit, which will take place in June, so next month, is to demonstrate NATO's unity, not its division. They want to show that NATO is united. And who is this demonstration meant to impress? It's meant to impress Russia. The same Russia that they want to bring in through another form of organization. So they say here, the sources indicate this: inviting Ukraine could provoke tensions, especially with Donald Trump, who is trying to negotiate with Russia and has actively opposed Ukraine's accession to NATO in the near future. So they want to sacrifice Ukraine for the sake of America's interests. Because if Russia simply learns that the gentleman has been invited there, the ticket, it means there is a prospect for Zelensky to join the NATO. And Putin might abandon everything. The plan set by Donald Trump would be doomed to fail. Ladies and gentlemen, you see how complicated international geopolitics is. It's ambiguous. Everything is mixed up. But on our side, at every moment, for all the latest information, we'll be here to give it to you and break it down. So then, ladies and gentlemen, having reached this point, all that's left for me to do is thank each and every one of you. I'll be back with more news shortly. This was the voice of your humble servant, Robert Théa.